We're doing top 10 buddy movies with my special guest, KO the Knockout. Hi, thank you for tuning into the Tom Patelson Show. With me again is KO the Knockout. We're doing our top 10 buddy movies. Now, we talked about doing buddy cop movies originally.
Yeah, but too many buddy movies.
There's too many buddy movies.
You know, like even genres, there's too many. So.
Exactly. To qualify as a buddy movie, I believe we were discussing at least two people have to be in it, and I think they kind of have to be opposites to one another to make it a buddy movie, because most of them are. One's a crazy guy, one's a straight guy, whatever it is, you know.
Pretty much.
Yeah. By the way, the straight man to like Jerry Lewis to Dean Martin, that kind of thing. But we're going to be all over the place. Top 10 buddy movies. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Give me the... All right. Number 10. Give it to me. What do you got?
All right. One of my favorite buddy movies, Downtown, directed by Richard Benjamin, starring Forest Whitaker and Anthony Edwards, 1990. Filmed in, in part of my hometown,
In Philly?
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Anthony Edwards. Is this right around when he did Gotcha?
Nah, a few years after that.
A few years after Gotcha.
Gotcha was 85, and that's probably my favorite Anthony Edwards movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Find it anyway.
I don't know if that'll hold up at all, but Gotcha is a funny comedy, spy, thriller thing.
Yeah, but Downtown is about a cop from the suburbs who pulls over this rich guy, and he's connected and a crooked dude, crooked politician, and pretty much when he arrests this guy, when he goes back to the station, they don't believe his story because, this guy's connected, and his punishment is to go work downtown in the worst precinct in Philadelphia, in the hood, and he gets there and they make his.
Partner him up.
Yeah, they partner him up with Forest Whitaker, and pretty much everybody thinks he'll be dead by the end of the week. And then his partner from the suburbs gets murdered, and he just throws the whole go by the book thing out the window, and
Downtown.
They start to investigate.
From 1990?
1990, starring Forest Whitaker, who it's a good movie to me because it's a comedy, but Forest Whitaker is such a great actor that it's certain parts of the movie that is very dramatic, and some violent scenes, man. There's some real violent murder scenes.
I've not seen Downtown. I've never even heard of this movie. We were talking about this months ago when we thought about maybe doing this, and I'd forgotten about it.
And also Art Evans, who was last episode that we did together. He was in Trespass, but he plays the lieutenant in this movie, and he's hilarious. It's a rare movie that's a must-see. It's not a bad movie.
That is your number 10. Number 10 is Downtown. My number 10 comes from 1975. I decided to go way, way back. I saw this movie when I was 6 years old. We saw it in the drive-in theater with our family, and it's had a soft spot for me, but I've not seen it in 30 years or so. I don't know if it holds up. I know it's on Disney+. It is a Disney movie from 1975 with Tim Conway, Don Knotts, and Bill Bixby. It is The Apple Dumpling Gang.
Okay. I've saw that like once.
Yeah, I've seen it. It was my brother John and I always consider ourselves to be like, Tim Conway and Don Knotts, kind of that comedic presence of whatnot. Does it hold up? I have no idea. But it has Bill Bixby, who is the Incredible Hulk from the television series, which we grew up watching.
Oh, hold up. He played David Banner.
Yeah, yes.
Not Bruce.
Not Bruce Banner. They changed his name to David Banner. No idea. But that is The Apple Dumpling Gang, number 10. Number 9.
Number 9. Classic. The Odd Couple, directed by Gene Saks, starring Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon.
It is a classic.
I picked this because there was probably about 3 or 4 TV shows they made off of The Odd Couple, including a black Odd Couple TV show that was called The New Odd Couple, starring Lamont from Sanford and Son. check it out.
I grew up watching the television show with Jack Klugman and Tony Randall.
Tony Randall.
Tony
Yeah,
Randall.
Tony Randall. I actually like the TV show better than the movie. Me
But the
personally.
movie's great. That is Neil Simon's The Odd Couple.
Yeah, it's a Neil Simon play.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, so-
Fantastic.
Yeah,
What year did
it's,
that come out?
1968.
1968.
Yeah.
Going deep.
My parents didn't even think about having me yet, So, but it's a great movie.
That is number 9. Number 9. Okay, I think this is going to be a crossover. So, but don't tell me if it is. If this is on your list, don't say that. We were talking about movies, and this one definitely is a buddy movie. These are two grifters from the streets looking for pocket change, doing what they do best. They are opposites to one another. It is Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes and Rosie Perez in 1992's White Men Can't Jump. White Men Can't Jump, basketball con artist hustler movie about
Great
two
movie.
hustlers. A lot of buddy movies are hustler movies. These are great movies, but I've got 2 hustler movies on my list, and Woody Harrelson is twice on my list, believe it or not.
And actually, this was the second movie they made. They made 3 movies together.
Don't-
This is the second movie they made together.
Okay, but because you're counting Wildcats with Goldie Hawn.
Yes, they were in that together.
Yes, they were.
It wasn't a buddy comedy, but they were in that together.
And then we're not going to talk about Money Train. Don't tell me Money Train's on your list.
no, it's not on my list.
No, it's not on your list. But White Men Can't Jump from 1992 is my number 9.
Not the remake that just came out.
Yeah.
I'm not a hater on remakes, but it wasn't a good one. All right, moving on.
Number 8.
Number 8. Uptown Saturday Night, starring Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby.
Hell yeah.
Directed by Sidney Poitier, 1975, with appearances by Harry Belafonte, Richard Pryor, and the late, well, they're all late,
I was going to say.
Flip Wilson.
Oh, Flip Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are my age, if you are 53 or older, you grew up watching Flip Wilson on television.
Yeah. See, I missed that. I know who Flip Wilson is. Once again, my rare TV knowledge. I know Flip Wilson from a show called Charlie and Companies with co-starring Gladys Knight.
Yeah,
That lasted for
yeah.
like a season. That's how I know who Flip Wilson is. But as I got older, I'm a fan of comedy. I've, know about his legacy, but I wasn't able to watch the Flip Wilson show,
Charlie and Company. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, that's a
That's a deep
rare one.
cut. Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Great. And I think, I might be wrong, I think Uptown Saturday Night might be the first movie he directed. I might be wrong. Look that up.
He did a bunch. He directed a bunch. So, yeah, I don't know what you did. That is number 8?
That is number 8.
Very well. Number 8, which everyone that's watching this will know it would be on this list. This movie came out in 1995. It is a traditional buddy movie, meaning there is a crazy guy and a not so crazy guy. It is endearing. It is wonderful. It stars the incomparable, amazing, fun-loving Chris Farley, David Spade, Brian Dennehy, Bo Derek, Dan Aykroyd, 1995, Tommy Boy.
Okay, that's a great one.
Tommy Boy is great. I think it's Chris Farley's best role.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Props
Tommy
to
Boy.
Beverly Hills Ninja.
That was
for being very
I like
funny.
all his roles. I'm keeping it 100% real. Even his appearances in movies, like Chris Farley was always funny. Black Sheep was funny.
Oh, when he's in Wayne's World for a tiny little bit, and he's
Funny.
hysterical.
Yeah.
Chris Farley. Chris Farley. Tommy Boy, 1995.
Great one.
What you got?
Great one.
That's a great pick.
So number 7, Bad Boys.
Okay, now which Bad Boys?
Not the 1981 or not
the Sean Penn.
And I should know his name.
Esai Morales.
Oh, you know his name?
Yeah, I know his name.
Man.
That's Bad Boys is a great one with Sean
That's
Penn and
one of my-
Esai Morales and oh damn it, the guy who
Ali
plays
Sheedy.
Ali Sheedy is the girlfriend.
Yeah, that's a great movie. But
Kurrigan's in it from Highlander. Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown's in it.
yeah, that was.
But it's not that one.
But not that one.
This is the original. This is Martin Lawrence and Will
This
Smith.
is Bad Boys. Martin Lawrence, Will Smith.
What you gonna
directed
do?
by Michael Bay. And I picked the first one because all 3 of them, they're all funny. But the first one, to me, for one, I was a big fan of Martin Lawrence when he was still, doing physical comedy. and it's scenes in there where he don't even say too much. He just move, like the
Martin Lawrence is is a great physical comedian. That's a good pick.
And I've always looked at it like it was like shit. It was, well, even though Danny Glover's black, but it was like the black Lethal Weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was a good movie. It had a good story.
It's like the black Lethal Weapon, even though Danny Glover is in Lethal Weapon and is black. That's right.
Hey, Riggs!
Riggs!
But yeah, Bad Boys. Like, had to go on my list. It was hard to pick between the three. Well, between the 1 and 2, but 1 has always been my favorite. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
So my number 7. We're on number 7? My number 7 comes from 2008, and the first 2, 3, 4 times I watched it, could not get into it. I was like, everyone kept quoting it. My buddy Mark quoted this movie incessantly when we worked together. Mark, you're the reason this movie is on my list. From 2008 with Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, and Mary Steenburgen, Step Brothers.
Step Brothers is
Step Brothers is hysterical, and yet it didn't grab me right away. Some movies do that. The Big Lebowski is one of those movies for me that didn't grab me, and now I can't get enough of The Big Lebowski. I don't know why.
I kind of think I feel the same way about The Big Lebowski. It caught on later. Yeah,
But Step Brothers is a story about 2 ninth graders who happen to be in their 40s who get paired together because their parents are dating, and they literally still act like a bunch of ninth graders, and I don't know why we buy it. It's so ridiculous and funny.
But
it's funny.
Which
so
one's
funny.
funnier? They got 2 buddy comedies together, and I always felt like is Talladega Nights funnier than Step Brothers?
They've got 3 because you're not counting the horrible Sherlock Holmes one that they did.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
I also didn't. I shouldn't say it's terrible. I shouldn't say it's terrible when I didn't see it. But yeah, there's 3 of them. John C. Reilly has serious acting chops.
Oh yeah, he's. I was watching Casualties of War with Sean Penn, Michael J. Fox.
John C. Reilly's in that.
He's in that. He's like pretty much Sean Penn's right hand man.
I'll have to watch that again. Casualty Wars that's a rough watch.
Oh yeah, it's a
rough watch. That's a good movie though.
I was on a Michael J. Fox kick one night, and I was like,
like a fella do.
Yeah.
Like a fella do.
Check
Every now and
this out.
again, go on a Michael J. Fox rant. But that is Step Brothers, my number 7, hysterical, fabulous. Number 6.
Number 6, we crossing over on this one.
Okay.
White Man Can't Jump.
Okay, there it is. I knew it would be on your list.
It has to. It's one of the greatest buddy movies of all time.
We're going to Sizzler.
Yeah,
we're going to Sizzler. We're going to Sizzler. That was the first thing I did when I moved to LA. One of the first things is I wanted to go down and see the basketball court at Venice Beach.
Shit, man.
You go down to Muscle Beach, you go down to see
Yeah.
you get to see the basketball court where White Men Can't Jump was shot.
Yeah.
And they're there playing basketball every day. Fabulous. Love that.
I played basketball on that court once, got dunked on.
I can't play basketball at all. I'm terrible. That's not a thing. I'm just not good at it. I've always been terrible.
I'm not good neither. You're not alone.
That is number 6. My number 6. This is my oldest one. My latest one. This is my latest one. I fell in love with this movie. This is a Netflix original movie, and this tracks the story of 2 Texas Rangers who were hired to go hunt down Bonnie and Clyde. It stars Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson, back on my list. Also, Kathy Bates is in it. It is The Highwayman.
Damn,
on Netflix.
Haven't seen it. Check it out.
It is really good. It's a great story showing how 2 men whose job it was to track people for a living and kill them. They're killers, to be certain, who hunt down Bonnie and Clyde, and they're older. They're really getting up there in their age, and Woody Harrelson comes off like he's 90 years old, and he's not. He does it's a wonderfully acted movie. Big fan. The Highwayman, a buddy movie.
I have to check that out. Yeah, Woody Harrelson. Yeah, one of my favorites.
Woody Harrelson.
I mean, he's on both of our lists.
That's it.
He's great. You great, Woody.
Was that number 6?
Yeah.
Number 6. All right. On to number 5.
Number 5. Great movie. Can't leave it off the list.
Okay.
And just like Bad Boys, I had to pick which one I wanted to go with.
There are sequels of this movie.
There are sequels, but Lethal Weapon 2.
Hang on. 2?
2.
Because
Better
of Joe
than one.
Pesci?
2, just period. 2.
2.
2 is better than 1.
Oh,
2 is better than 1.
agree to disagree.
It is.
Agree to disagree on that one. Oh, my
He said,
Lord.
free South Africa.
You dumb son of a bitch. I will
Yeah,
say this:
because of Joe Pesci.
there are 4 lethal weapons, and you could skip the last. You can skip 3 and 4. I think you can say that.
3, definitely. 4.
With
some
Jet Li?
funny. That part wasn't great, but 4 had a lot of great comedy, like Chris Rock and Danny Glover.
forgot Chris
you feel
Rock
me?
is- I forgot Chris
and
Rock
He
is in it.
doesn't know that Chris Rock is engaged to or married to his daughter.
Yes, like we were saying,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah, but
It's
that was
don't
funny.
see Lethal Weapon 2. Martin, yeah.
Oh, 2 is great.
Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh. Those are the characters' names.
Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, directed by Richard Donner, who we don't even have to say what Goonies, who Tom has never seen.
I've never seen
Don't
Goonies.
stop watching the show.
It's.
He's still a great man.
I'm gonna see it. I've got it slated to see with my lady and her kids. We've got to make an event of it because I've never seen Goonies. It is a weird thing that I've never seen. It's
But-
weird. Lethal Weapon 2.
Superman. You seen Superman?
I've seen Superman more times than I can
Alright,
count.
so-
The original Superman with Christopher Reeve. Absolutely.
He directed that. So
So number 5.
number 5.
This is the furthest back I will go. I will go back to 1941. Now, growing up in the 70s, my brother John and I would always watch cartoons on Saturday morning. And the cartoons ran until around 10:30 or 11. After that, it was time to go and do yard work, go and mow the lawn and do a bunch of nonsense. And then afterwards, we'd come in to watch the afternoon movie on Channel 2 KMGH in Denver, Colorado. And back then, we watched every Godzilla movie, we watched every monster movie, and they would occasionally show these movies. 1941, starring Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. It is Hold That Ghost. Hold That Ghost, Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello.
Black and white, a horror movie, if you will, hysterically funny. Lou Costello, there's a scene with a candle in it. If you've seen Hold That Ghost, there's a candle scene, and you have to watch Hold That Ghost. It was the first movie I thought of when we said a buddy movie. I was like, oh, that's the first buddy movie I can name. That's the first one I can think of, is Abbott and Costello. Because I wasn't a big Laurel and Hardy fan of Martin and Lewis as much as I was Abbott and Costello. Ever seeing what is that? Who's on First? Yeah, ever seen Who's on First? Hold That Ghost, 1941.
I remember Abbott and Costello. I'm not too fond of their movies, but
No.
yeah.
That is number 5. Number 4.
Number 4. Classic. Let's see, it's getting deep.
Getting deep? I'm ready.
Friday,
Okay, Friday is a classic.
1995.
Not Friday 2, not next Friday?
Friday, the first one. Friday,
Damn.
1995, directed by F. Gary Gray, starring Ice Cube and Chris Tucker when he was still in his rarest form. Yeah, man.
Hey, Chris Tucker's
Friday.
great in Air. Have you seen Air yet?
I haven't seen Air. I want to watch it.
Chris Tucker's great in Air.
He's Chris Tucker's great in pretty much, like everything I've seen him in. Like a lot of people love the Rush Hour trilogy, which is great, but like I came up on Chris Tucker at Def Comedy Jam, and all that.
Sure.
So like I remember first time I saw Chris Tucker was in House Party 3, which a lot of the cast from Friday is in House Party 3, and I actually saw an interview with Ice Cube that he was kind of saying like he saw that movie and saw that they had more talent than Def Comedy Jam and wanted to use a lot of them for Friday. And there's a scene he has probably 1 minute in House Party 3, and he played Johnny Booze. And when it was funny as hell.
House Party 3.
So when I saw the trailer to Friday, shout out to my mother who took me and my homeboy to see Friday. And
So you saw it in the theater.
saw it in the theater because I saw Chris Tucker and was like, yeah.
How old were you when you saw it?
14.
That is prime laugh your ass off age.
Yeah.
At 14, everything's funny.
I can tell this story now because I'm an adult, but actually, the day after seeing Friday, I'll never forget it, was the first time I went and bought my own bag of weed the next day. Me and my friend was like, we have to get some weed. And
Because
smoke.
because they smoked it in the movie?
Yeah. Well, I smoked weed before that, but like I didn't know like where to. I'd never, went up. This is back before dispensaries. I never went to the block and bought it on my own. I always just smoked with somebody older than me.
No, yeah, there was the guy that had it.
Yeah,
the
and-
dispensary there was the guy, and he had some.
Exactly. It was the corner. But never forget it. Me and my best friend at the time. The next day, he was like crashing at my house. It was a sleepover. We went saw Friday, and then we woke up and we were like, "Yo, we got to get some weed today." And it was the first time we walked to the block and bought our own weed. So, shout out to Chris Tucker and Ice Cube for turning me into a weed head. Sorry, just say no.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we're buying that one. Number 4 for me. Number 4 is from 1987. That is the year I graduated from high school, and it stars Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, and it should have been number 1. It is Lethal Weapon, the first Lethal Weapon. And I'll tell you why. The first Lethal Weapon is a comedy, a little. It is a serious movie. Martin Riggs, played by Mel Gibson, has lost his wife and lost his will to live, and the only thing that keeps him going is the job. That's his line. He always says in the movie that keeps him from blowing his head off is the job. And there are serious, tense moments where we almost commit suicide in front of each other. And of course, Roger Murtaugh, played by Danny Glover, he is retiring. He's going to retire soon. He just turned 50 years old, I think is the line in the movie. He just turned 50 years old, not ready for this crazy lunatic to show up in his life. And it's a serious movie. And it has Gary Busey in it.
Yeah, crazy ass Gary Busey.
Crazy Gary Busey, who plays Mr. Joshua. Oh, fantastic.
Big fight scene at the end.
Yeah, big fight scene. But as far as...
My bad.
You didn't know Gary Busey could...
New Kung Fu, I ain't know. He can get down like that,
He strikes me as the crazy guy who would know Kung Fu. But yeah, Lethal Weapon 1, absolutely fantastic. That is number 4.
Well, can I chime in? Yeah, that's why I was a little... He's 50 years old, retiring in 1987, and then they still making movies in 1998, and he's still on the force.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly retiring ever, right? Yeah, no.
This running with his, old knees. Hey, Riggs! Hey, Riggs!
That's pretty good, Danny Glover. Won't lie.
All right, so
yeah, Lethal Weapon. Number 3.
Number 3, classic director, classic duo, Weird Science.
See, I was going to put Weird Science is not on my list, and I love Weird Science. That's a great buddy movie.
1985, directed by John Hughes, starring Anthony Michael Hall and Island Mitchell Smith.
And Kelly LeBrock.
Who still looks good. I just saw a picture of her the other day.
And Bill Paxton and Robert Downey Jr.
Rest in peace, Bill
Rest in
Paxton.
peace, Bill
That's
Paxton.
my favorite Bill Paxton role. Chet. He's a great actor, but Chet's my favorite. Chet's the man.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Yeah, Weird Science. For those that haven't seen Weird Science, it is the classic Frankenstein tale of 2 kids who, with the use of their computer and some wires, I guess they found, create a woman who, by the way, I thought about this the other day. Lisa is the character's name. Lisa has the power of God.
Pretty much.
Can make cars appear out of thin air, can change clothing instantly and hairstyles, can give you anything you ever wanted, disappear, reappear, turn back time. Thank you, Cher.
Make your grandparents appear.
Yeah, just, she has the power of God. I don't know why they didn't do a sequel. I don't know if it needs a sequel.
Some things you like, it's so classic, you leave it alone. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't a phenomenal show, TV show or nothing, but I didn't mind the TV show when they made it years later because the guys who played Gary and Wyatt were kind of similar to to Anthony Michael Hall in Island. Yeah.
KO and I quoted Weird Science a lot, like when we first started to work together.
Yeah, it's a classic movie. I'm not gonna stand here and listen to this baloney.
Do it. Say it.
He won't, you know. He doesn't stand for baloney.
It's his favorite fucking line. I love that line. He doesn't, you know. He doesn't stand for baloney.
Yeah.
Weird Science. All right, number 3. Okay. Number 3 is Three Buddies. Are you ready for this? This comes from 1980. And as far as buddy movies going, meaning three buddies who wind up getting thrown in together into a caper where they accidentally thought they murdered their boss. It stars Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, and Dolly Parton. This is 9 to 5.
That was gonna go on my list.
9 to 5. With Dabney Coleman, who plays the boss, and 9 to 5 is a great buddy movie, and still is a great movie. I saw it during the pandemic. You did a rewatch. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 to 5 is
So good.
Yeah, it's definitely a great movie. Something I watched growing up. It was like always a fun movie. It's probably funny from start to finish.
Start to finish, and I love everyone in it.
Yeah,
I love everyone in it.
That was gonna go on my list, but the only reason why I didn't put it on my list because I didn't know if we could do more than 2 people.
I went deep on it. I was like, okay, buddies doesn't mean 2. It means and there are 3 buddies, and I went for that. So yeah, 1980s, 9 to 5. Oh, I don't know who directed it. I've been saying to my directors, apologies to the directors.
All right, so
Number 2.
Number 2. Oh man, this is a phenomenal movie. Great. To me, I'm saying this is the best movie from the 70s. I don't care what you say. I know Godfather and all those movies came out. All right, I'm sorry, Star Wars. I'm sorry. You know.
I'm ready. There's a buddy movie from the 70s.
But this is my favorite movie from the 70s.
Lay it on me.
1975. Before I say the name, I'm going to say who's in. Directed by Michael Schultz. If you don't know who Michael Schultz is, go do your history. That's all I'll say. Starring Glenn Truman and Lauren Hilton Jacobs. Boom Boom Washington. Welcome back, Carter.
Freddie Boom Boom Washington.
Cooley High. Cooley High is, they always called it on the posters, they always said the Black American Graffiti. No, it's not. American Graffiti, George Lucas, great director, but that ain't a great movie to me. And Cooley High is the only comedy to me that has the ending will just take you on a whole 360. You feel me? The only movie I watched, and it's fun until the last minute of it.
I haven't seen Cooley High in 30 years.
And only movie, sorry, Dad. If you're mad, I'm saying this. The only movie I've seen my dad cry watching.
Oh, wow.
And
That's a deep moment.
I used to do a test to all my homies that thought they was tough. Yeah, Frizz, I'm talking about you. Shout out to my homie. But I would do a test and I would say, I never cry. I never, cry from a movie. And I play the movie. Wouldn't tell them what was going to happen. And you would look over and they'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Cooley High.
Cool. And actually, a series was made off of this. What's Happening is based off of Cooley High. The original, the writer of Cooley High preached the character Glenn Truman is pretty much his story. He was from the hood. He wanted to get out, and at the end, he eventually takes off to Hollywood and really became a writer. Never went to school or anything for it.
I loved What's Happening. That's my era of television.
I want to say Monty Ellis. Sorry if I'm messing up the name, but yeah, he created What's Happening, Good Times. Like, he was the one that was writing all that stuff. But Cooley High was supposed to be What's Happening. The pilot was Cooley High. It didn't work out, so they changed it around,
So I was going to say, I don't see the connection between Cooley High and What's Happening.
If you watch What's Happening at the end of the credits, it say a Cooley High production.
That's deep. Check that out.
Yeah. So.
Well, I hate to step on your 1975 with a 1973 with one of the greatest movies ever made from 1973. One Best Picture, but I don't care about that. This is another movie. When I said we were talking about grifters, about hustlers. This is one of the greatest hustler movies ever made, starring Paul Newman, Robert Redford, and Robert Shaw. This is The Sting from 1973. If you haven't seen The Sting, please watch The Sting. It follows the story of two con men and then every con man in the city as they try to revenge. They revenge the death of one of their brethren. One of their brethren, a street grifter, gets killed by a mobster, and they decide they're going to put a sting on the mobster and take as much money off them as they can, and they all work together. So there's 50 con men working on this elaborate con, and there's twists and turns, and yeah, there's so many twists at the end. The Sting, number 2, 1973.
That's a good one.
I believe Walter Hill directed that.
I've seen that before, but that's one I gotta go back and watch again. Thank
Yeah.
you for putting me on.
Oh, The Sting.
I'm always looking for a good movie to watch.
All right, are we ready for it?
Number one.
This is number 1.
Number one.
Drum roll.
Number one. We'll do it like the last one. Directed by John Landis. Starring Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Arsenio Hall. 1988. Coming to America.
Hell yeah.
Has to be my number one.
Coming to America is so good.
Some people do, it's not a buddy comedy. I'm like, it's clearly a buddy movie. Like Sammy and Hakeem and Sammy come to America together, and
They are Butch and Sundance. What are you going to do?
yeah, the whole journey is together. Like, yeah, and one of the best movies ever made. Not just comedies. Like, yeah, Eddie Murphy playing multiple roles. Arsenio Hall playing multiple roles.
It has both James Earl Jones and John Amos.
Yeah, and Maggie Sinclair, her and John Amos were in Roots together.
John Amos, for those that don't know, played James Evans on Good Times, who, when I was growing up, was the scariest sitcom father ever.
When he had hypertension. He's like, I got no goddamn hypertension.
I was so scared of him. He's so good.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen The West Wing, he plays Chairman Fitzwallace on The West Wing. John Amos.
John Amos, he's a great,
He's so good.
Great actor.
So
I
good.
just watched a movie with him 2 nights ago. Let's Do It Again.
Let's do it again.
Another Sidney Poitier.
I was going to say, I was like, hang on a second, are that the two of them? All right. Number 1.
Number one.
I knew my number 1 the second we started to do the buddy comedies. I knew it was going to be happening. Just like the Apple Dumpling Gang, I knew exactly what I was going to say. And it is from 1980. And it is, you could call it a musical. Let's list off some people that's in this movie, shall we? John Lee Hooker, Ray Charles, Cab Calloway, Aretha Franklin, James Brown, John Candy, Carrie Fisher. Starring the buddies are John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. It is The Blues Brothers from 1980. The Blues Brothers is one of those perfect movies. There is song, there is dance, there is comedy, there is action, there is wonderful music in it, and it's a nonstop. I love The Blues Brothers.
You know what? Oh, man, you might have beat my number one. And they both directed by the same person.
John Landis.
Yep.
Hats off to John Landis for that.
Yeah, you know what? I feel I'm sitting here feeling like I'm gonna throw my list away.
No, don't do that.
I can't believe I didn't think of the Blues Brothers.
I said Butch and Sundance a minute ago, and Butch and Sundance are not on my list. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I had a choice between that and The Sting in my mind. I didn't want to put both, and The Sting wins for me. But that's just my personal preference.
I had a choice between Lethal Weapon 2 and Life.
No, you didn't. You were going to put Life on there.
Life is a great book.
That's Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, they did Life together. You know the reason why I didn't put that on there? That's a great comedy. But I saw that in the theaters when it came out, and it still hits me when I watch it. It's a great comedy, but it's also a depressing movie.
I'm gonna have to watch that again because I don't think it did well.
It did well.
did well?
Yeah, Life did well.
Life's one of those movies that isn't mentioned in all of these movies. We just mentioned 20 buddy movies and didn't bring up Life.
You should watch Life again. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy in Life, they go from being young in the 40s to 1998, old men. They did life in jail for something they didn't do.
Happy show. It's a happy show.
It's not. People love that movie. That's the reason why I didn't go on my list, because it's great. They're funny, but I can't really watch it because at the end I'm like, they just did life for something they didn't do. This ain't fucking exciting.
That's like this isn't a fun movie. What kind of comedy has life in prison? Well, this one does. That's Life. But that is the Blues Brothers from 1980 with John Landis, my number 1. All right, 10-1. List them.
Number 10, Downtown. Number 9, Odd Couple. Number 8, Uptown Saturday Night. Number 7, Bad Boys. Number 6, White Man Can't Jump. Number 5, Lethal Weapon 2. Number 4 was Friday. Number 3 was Weird Science. Number 2, Coolie High. And number 1, Coming to America.
My list from 10-1, The Apple Dumpling Gang, White Men Can't Jump, Tommy Boy, Step Brothers, The Highwaymen, Hold That Ghost, Lethal Weapon, 9-5, The Sting, and The Blues Brothers. Well, this was fantastic, doing our buddy movie list. We're going to have another one of these today, Mike.
Always.
Thanks.
These are just volume 1, because we both know we can do 100 of each category.
We will pick another category. We will do another one of these coming up in a little while, another couple episodes. But thanks to my guest, KO the Knockout.
Thank you for having me.
Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at KO the Knockout, just how it's said, just how it's spelled. And pretty much that's the only place you can find me right now.
There'll be plenty of other places coming up soon.
Online presence up.
But thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you like this content. My stuff drops on Sunday. Hit that notification bell so you know when it's coming. Till I see you next time, as always, peace, love, live long, and prosper.